What's going on, Eagles fans? Zander, Krause here with JAKIB Sports. I want to welcome you into today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button here on JAKIB. Don't forget to hit that subscribe bell, and I'll alert you to what we have coming on this video here today. It's a little bit of a special show that we have. It's going to be an audio-only broadcast, but we go live from Screwballs, and it's an audio-only, as I said. But Dan Cilio joins. He gives you why he believes the Philadelphia Eagles will win today versus the Washington Commanders. We talked to the Steamfitters Local 420. They donated a bunch of coats for Krause's Coats Everybody that we were able to deliver yesterday on Saturday for great veterans down in the city, and I shared some of that up on our social media pages. So be sure to go and check that out. Enjoy the show today. I also want to remind you of one other thing before I get into the content. We're doing a lot of great giveaways here on JAKIB Sports this holiday season. We've given away jerseys all year, and I've added to the list of jerseys that we've done. I have about 8 to 10 more jerseys to give away, 6 more Eagles sweatshirts, a bunch more hats, a couple jackets, the Diana jackets, the starter coats, a bunch of stuff. So to win, you have to be a member here on the channel. So it costs $5 a month to be a member. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, or you just enjoy the content and want to help us grow and help support our channel, then please consider becoming a member. That will be in the description down below. So enjoy the content, everybody. Stay tuned. It's game day. Make sure you tune in on the pregame and the postgame show today. Thanks, everyone.
A special edition of the Countdown to Kickoff show as we broadcast to you on a Thursday night, live from Screwballs. Big night tonight. It's Krause's Coats here on the Countdown to Kickoff show, and our good friends from Steamfitters Local 420, they're all in the house. And Henry, boy, did they show up with a truckload
you aren't kidding.
of coats tonight. And I will say this about Local 420, who is the fuel behind Krause's Coats. I picked up yesterday at the Union Hall over 400 kids' coats up at Local 420. So with everything brought out tonight, plus everything yesterday, we are fueled and driven by Local 420, man. These guys are all amazing. We're going to get a couple of the guys up on the show in segment 2 today. But really, really great stuff. And I can't thank Jimmy Snell and all of the members who literally go into their pocket, throw cash into a barrel, and then some guys either fortunately or unfortunately get to go shopping to the store, and they literally buy these coats, Henry, right off the rack.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody better check Burlington Coat Factory. They may be a little light on inventory here. This is unbelievable. This is good stuff, too. This isn't like, some poncho. These Eagles jackets here.
Oh man, they're beautiful. Listen, here's what we're going to do with the Eagle jackets. Of course, Saturday is Krause's Coats, Veterans Christmas Party and Holiday. We will be doing a Veterans Brunch, as I do every year, this Saturday from 11 It'll start at 11 a.m. It'll probably wrap up about 2 p.m. Sized about 265 veterans. Each veteran will get a brand new coat fit to their size. So we'll do all of that. I'll have the entire Krause family down there doing it on Saturday. We'll size everybody up. Each veteran will get a commemorative American flag in a 3x5 fold for the holidays. We'll have a DJ. We'll have lunch served for all of the veterans. Just a small gesture and a small way. One, to say thank you for their service, and then two, to give a veteran in need, who's in need, make them feel incredibly special. Tomorrow, or Saturday rather, as they should be.
Absolutely.
So that'll all take place on Saturday. And Henry, I will randomly, just like we do here at Screwballs, I'll select a couple winners who are at the Saturday Krause coat distribution, and we're going to send them down to the Eagles-Dallas game.
Oh, wow. That's a great prize right there, bro.
So a real treat.
And they got the coats for the occasion.
Yeah, they got the Eagles coat for the occasion, and it should be a fantastic day.
I might have to start Henry's hats.
Yeah, Henry's hats, Krause's coats. There you go, brother. Good
Dude, that is this, and I am blown, as a veteran myself, I am blown away by even this gesture that you put together every year for not only veterans but homeless people. You know, dude, you're earning your wings, brother. You're earning your wings up to the pearly gates, that's for sure. But where are you at right now? I remember your first year, you had a few hundred coats.
337. You were with me. 337 coats. We did it at Bergie's in Conshohocken.
That's right.
And the first year of the collection was 337 coats, and I proceeded to deliver each coat individually. That was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And
flies. And that was lightly used.
That was lightly
this
used.
Stuff is brand spanking new.
Oh yeah, and we
tag
still
off the sleeve.
And we still collect slightly worn coats and jackets as well. But the whole dynamic now, and I remember John Doherty saying to me, Krause, 337 coats, that's just not enough. And we proceeded to go on a run where this is now year 21. And get this, Henry, give or take a coat or two, we are north of 365,000 coats.
Stop. Over 20 years.
Over 20 years,
Wow.
collected, reconditioned,
Do some math on that.
and distributed. It's been an amazing thing. I will do it until I leave this world. And then the kids, the Krause clan, will carry it on when I have checked out. About 18,000 coats.
Yeah, per year.
Per year. My highest year was about 23,000.
Wow.
That was my highest. And then, of course, the lowest was the very first year at 337. So just an amazing run. I am so blessed to be in this world. And this is just, I don't do this for accolades. I don't do this for a pat on the back. I do this because this is what I'm supposed to do.
And that's what's supposed to happen for veterans. You know, far too long, veterans have been second-class citizens in this country, have not gotten their due respect, have not gotten taken care of the way they should. You know, this goes a long way. Listen, a new coat for somebody in December goes a long, long way, veteran or otherwise. You know, everyone deserves warmth, and a roof over their head and food, the basic needs for sustenance. And sometimes our vets get overlooked, and it's a disgusting story that it even happens. You know, there's too many homeless veterans in the city, in all the cities in the United States, and that needs to be a sweeping movement, you know, going forward. Not to deviate into politics, but I love seeing that some of these vets are going to get some Eagles coats. Now, how do you decide who gets those? Because that's like a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, no, we do a random raffle ticket drawing just like we do here at Screwballs. So
okay, so it's luck of the draw.
It's luck of the draw, and then I do select one very special veteran who is in the building, who shows up on Saturday. And they get a very special Krause Kango hat.
Oh yeah,
and that is the signature, and that is the grand prize. So a lot of fun anyway. All that coming up on Saturday. We will be live on Saturday. Listen, a lot to talk about. Eagles football tonight. We're live here at Screwballs. It's the countdown to kickoff show. Remember, we were here on Sunday for the Stiegel Express.
What a great time.
You know, 50 passengers rolled out of here on a charter bus, 25 Steeler fans and 25 Eagle fans. When I met the bus back here on Sunday night, the Steeler fans went right to their car. The Eagle fans
I went right to the bar, you mean. We went right to the bar.
The Eagle fans came right back into Screwball.
Well, I was with them. I came and had some drinks. But no, listen, again, another home run. Those bus trips. So I think the first one we did was Washington.
First one was Washington.
Then New York. Now we just went down to Philadelphia. Those bus trips are a home run. It's always a great time. I always remember about 15% of the actual game just because there's just so much camaraderie, you know, on the bus, in the game, especially, you know, us being down. You know, my Steeler gang came down, and, you know, we had to address every Eagle fan around us because they certainly were addressing us. And then every Steeler fan that went by, I'm like, we're good. It's going to be all right. Well, it never turned out to be all right, but for us, it was a great trip, man. I can't wait till
like Zander said to me. I was telling him about the trip yesterday. Like Zander said to me, listen, if I'm an Eagle fan and I see Henry Racich walking in front of me, he'll kick anybody's ass in the stadium. I'm not effing with that dude.
We didn't. Fortunately, we had zero events like that. I mean, it was a kind of little thing. My kids were sitting the row behind me. I had to go up there and check a couple guys. Like, these are mine.
You settled them down quick.
Yeah, and they were like, all right, we're good. But no, it was pretty cool, man. Everyone was on their best behavior. It was a great event. I'm sure it was extra special because of all the veterans we took on that trip.
Yeah, no doubt.
All the guys from the 270th Engineering Squadron up at Willow Grove, my former squadron, my son's squadron. My daughter just joined. She's working for my son. We have a cool military. I'm all about the military stuff, but awesome trip. Can't wait for the next one.
Let's bring Dan Cilio, host of the National Football Show on the JAKIB Sports Network, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then, of course, you'll get him on game day. It's the JAKIB Sports pregame show with Zander and Sills and John McMullen. That's for the pregame show. Post-game show, Big Sills, Zander Krause, and John McMullen will join from the stadium this week. The game is down in Washington. Big Sills, how are you, brother?
Oh, good, man. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, right back at you, brother. We were excited to get you on this week. I know sometimes coming off your shift, it's tough, so we appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes to join us. Let's jump right into this football game. There are a couple of storylines going into the game on Sunday, and before we look back to the earlier victory by Philadelphia, which trailed in that football game going into the fourth quarter, I want to get some of your bullet points or initial assessments on how you see this game on Sunday. It's Eagles, Washington. It's Jaden versus Jalen. I guess that's the number one headline. Let me give you some runway and talk a little bit about the Washington Commanders game here coming in on Sunday.
I've got to tell you, man, I think this kid, Jaden Daniels, with Cliff Kingsbury, the OC, and Brian Johnson, the former offensive coordinator of the Eagles, I think they've done a whale of a job with this kid. It's been since 1991 that they have had a 10-win season. They're 9-5 on the year right now, probably going to win 10 football games. They have completely changed the culture around. You got to remember something about Dan Quinn, too. And you can say whatever we want about Vic Fangio, and he's done a spectacular job with the Philadelphia Eagle defense. But Quinn was the architect, along with Pete Carroll of the Legion of Boom. They created that great defense up there with, get this, I mean, not really a lot of first-rounders. I mean, Cam Chancellor was a late-round pick or a mid-round pick. Richard Sherman, guys like that. Michael Bennett was a free agent. They did a really great job. And then as a head coach, he took the Atlanta Falcons, albeit they dropped that lead to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But as an NFL head coach, he took a team to the Super Bowl. He was also a defensive coordinator. This guy knows what he's doing, and what he decided to do, he flipped the script a little bit, Joe. Think about what they did, guys. They basically flipped the script of what they do in Los Angeles with Sean McVay. McVay handles the offense, and then he turns the defense over to people like Wade Phillips or Raheem Morris, and those guys run their own shop. And that's kind of what he did in Washington. He turned the whole shop over to Cliff Kingsbury. He hired his own assistant coaches. They've done a really great job with that football team. They got Marshawn Lattimore back. They made that trade for one reason, getting Marshawn Lattimore. They made that trade because they wanted to stop A.J. Brown. And, again, when you're in the division, you're not drafting or trading people to try to beat somebody out of your division. Like, the Eagles are not signing people to beat the Lions or to beat the Niners. You're there to win your division first and foremost. And that's kind of what they've done here. So it's really been a great job of what they've done in their first year with the new regime.
Dan, this is Henry. How you doing, brother?
Well, good, my friend. Happy holidays to you.
You too, my friend. Real quick, you have the clipboard, you have the headset. How do you attack this Eagles football team? They're very, very solid and sturdy in pretty much every category. What is the secret? I mean, no one's figured it out, obviously, and constantly done it. But where would you attack this defense, this offense?
If I'm on the offensive side of the ball, by the way, the Commanders are fourth or third, I think it is, in rushing. I'm going to still continue to attack those edges because I don't think of all the places that they are on their defense. You go back to 22. They don't have a Hassan Reddick out there. They've got some young and promising football players, but they got three dudes. Unless they activate Bryce Huff this week, they're rotating three guys out there. I'm still going to do my best to attack those edges because, look, the 22 team had 70 sacks. This is nowhere near that unit. Their edges, now look, albeit Josh Sweat is having a great season again, like he did 2 years ago. But again, and Nolan Smith is coming along. But, they attack those edges, continue to go after those, trying to get out wide, jet sweeps and such like that. And, Ryan Robinson has done a nice job at running the ball. He's on pace for about 2,500 yards. Look, the Eagles clearly have the best roster going into this game on Sunday. But this will be a great challenge for them. And on the other side of the ball, if I'm the defense, what I want to do is I want to see if Jalen Hurts can do this again. I am not in the camp that the passing game is turned around. They're 28th. So they went from 31st the week previous to that to 28th. Okay, well, here's what people believe, that they had Jalen Hurts, a $50 million quarterback, and a $35 million wide receiver and a $25 million wide receiver sitting in the garage until they needed to take the 63 split window coupe out of the garage and go driving and having a great time. Okay, some think that. To me, I think you got to be consistent heading, especially into the playoffs. Are you going to be Carolina passing game, or are you going to be Pittsburgh passing game? And I want to see that this week because you're going to need that in the postseason.
So, Dan, I read a stat, this week that said that coming into the Steelers game, that Jalen Hurts is a much better percentage passer against man than zone. Now, Pittsburgh is one of the highest playing man defenses in the league, which could explain his numbers going up, other than, in my opinion, as a Steelers fan, AJ crying and getting the rock to shut him up a little bit. So, how do you explain that? Is it the zone? You were there in the league. Why would his numbers be lower against zone? Is it his reading ability, his processing, or is it's better against man doing the 50-50 type balls with Brown? How do you explain that difference in his percentages, man versus zone?
One of the greatest commentary moments I ever heard anybody say on the radio or on TV was Tom Brady on Sunday on the difference between tempo. This is why he was so good against Pittsburgh. What happened? They started holding on to the ball too long. T.J. Watt and that Steeler defense started getting pressure. Let's remember something here. He took his 38th sack this past weekend. So he may not be turning the ball over, but he's taking 3 sacks a game since the beginning of the season. So he's not throwing the ball away. But what Brady said with this, when you go up tempo and you start speeding the game up, and this is what they did, what does it do? It identifies more so the personnel and where to go on pre-snap read on where you're going. And it stopped Pittsburgh from doing what? The number one thing that Mike Tomlin liked to do. Mike Tomlin was taught by Tony Dungy. What's the one thing up-tempo does? It stops you from substitutions and putting proper personnel in against that type of style of offense. I think he's better up-tempo because when you watched him up-tempo versus when they just had him go 7-step, it became night and day, and that slant became undefensible. And to me, again, when you're in a zone, you don't know where to go pre-snap because you have to have progression reading in a zone. Man, it's one-on-one. AJ's going to win that all night, especially when you go up-tempo.
Big Sills, Dan Silio joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff show as we broadcast to you live on a Thursday night from Screwballs. Great to be here. Big night on a Thursday night. It's the annual Krause coat collection, which means the Steamfitters are in the building. Local 420 showing out big time. We'll get all the guys up here in our next segment. And Sills, I know you're 12 to 1,500 miles away out in that shitty state in San Diego, in California. But I wish you were here tonight to see what it is like. It is just an unbelievable night. It's what we live for, what I really, really enjoy. One last question for you, and I know you're king of the bulletin board material. I know that you can appreciate that from all the talk that you did and that your teammates did on that Miami Hurricane team when you won the national championship. Nobody talked more crap than you in that.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because, Sills, a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to tell you, I'm very good friends with Brad Vespi. We're thinking about putting a segment in called Vespi Spills on Sills.
Oh,
Hey, let me tell you a real quick story here about Brad Vespi. So, Joe, listen to. By the way, I thought Joe was going to say.
He knows Brad.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought Joe was going to say bullshitter, but then I heard him say bulletin board. So I was very happy he said that. To me, I was like, so get this. This guy had a friend in Philly, and I was like, who is this guy, man? He's selling me sneakers, and he's telling me all this bullshit. And I go, what's your name, son? He goes, my name is Worldwide Wes.
I know Wes, Worldwide Wes. That's hysterical.
I said, what is a name like Worldwide Wes? He goes, I hear you're going to get my boy Vespi on, and you tell him, if it wasn't for Big Sills, I went to Jimmy Johnson and got him that national title ring and got him on the team. I said, you should take a look at this kid. He's got a good attitude. He's from Philly. Let him. And his old man was in construction, what have you.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I was like,
Brad said he went because his older brother was the pitcher. He was part of the deal.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so, by the way, we stayed at Brad's house. I lived at Brad's house, actually. They're on campus. And so, he introduces me. And Joe, this guy, Worldwide Wes, he's one of the most powerful men in all of CAA.
Yeah.
And now I think he's a senior executive with the Knicks.
Super agent.
I mean,
Worldwide West.
Wow,
I've hung out with that guy a couple of times. They're great guys. Still, Brad told me of all the smack talkers on that Miami team, you were by far the king.
Oh, yeah. Me and Jerome own the world. I mean, you know that picture
I love it.
Tony Montana?
Oh, yeah.
The world is mine.
The world is mine.
Let me tell you this. Me and Jerome ran that whole deal. By the way, Zander posted the picture of Norman Brayman, the former owner of the Eagles, who gave me a Corvette. I finally, after 40 years, I went, yeah, Norman Brayman gave me the Corvette. Look at this baby right here, man. I go, Jerome drove a Grand National. We had so much great fun down there, man. Brad, hey, by the way, I'll say this to this day. Brad is a dear friend of mine. I love the kid.
Oh, he's a good dude. He's solid. He's all aces. Sills, it sounds like a book.
Yeah, no,
sounds like you should be putting a book together on those Miami years.
Yeah. You know, my wife says, I don't know if you want this book being written. There's good and bad in it. I don't know.
Well, Sills, real quick, back to the question on Smack Talk. I did see Brian Robinson, the former Bama back, come out with some bulletin board material, kind of a direct shot where, and I'm paraphrasing the statement, but they're better than the Philadelphia Eagles, essentially, is what I took from the quote. I don't know if a quote like that from B-Rob means as much today as it once did, or perhaps it does. You say what on that?
Hey, Joe, what do you always tell me? Punch up.
Punch up.
Hey, kid, you might, hey, you're making me have to cash a check that you wrote, kid. Hey, hang in here, man. I mean, this is what I would have did. And guys, you'll love this. I would have pulled an old-timey Lou Holtz. Here's how Lou Holtz used to talk about my Miami teams. I have no idea how we're going to beat these. These guys were some of the best guys I've ever seen. We're the best, the fastest guys. I go, and I used to go, Lou, you're 10-0.
That's crazy.
Good stuff from Big Sills, man. Joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff show, live from Screwballs, our Thursday night hangout, year number 5 now at Screwballs for the Countdown to Kickoff show. Just me, Henry, and the people here on a Thursday night, a big night for Krause's coach. Don't forget Big Sills tomorrow, Friday, 2 to 6. And then Sunday, the Eagle pregame show and the Eagle postgame show. You'll get Big Sills, Zander K, and John McMullen from down at Washington. We'll see how that plays out. Sills, who do you like? Eagles are going to win it, or do you think the Commanders do have a legitimate chance to win this football game on Sunday?
I got Eagles in here. I mean, I've been saying it since Monday. I mean, Joe, they got the best roster. They've got 10 in a row. Now, listen, here's the one thing, though. The next loss the Eagles have can end their season. I mean, because I don't believe they're going to lose a game out. I mean, of all the teams, of the 12-2 teams that have the easier route, in my opinion, I think it's the Eagles. I mean, both the Vikings and Lions have to play each other in the final week of the season. And on top of that, they got some pretty tough games lined up here, coming up here. So again, I mean, I got them beating Washington this weekend. Now look, don't flirt around like you did in that Carolina game, because you can make this thing pretty interesting. And it is a divisional game. Joe, I do think this is going to be a fourth quarter game, but I think you're going to see a fourth quarter football game that the Eagles have pretty much the control of the game, and I think they win this game.
All right, well, good stuff. Well, that's game one. That would be a duplicate or a replicate of game one, because if you remember that game, Henry, the Eagles went into the fourth quarter trailing Washington here at the Link, and then I think Saquon got hot and got a couple of touchdowns, and the Eagles ended up winning. But Big Sills, appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on tonight, man. Great stuff.
Anytime, brother. I appreciate it.
All
right, so see you later, bro.
All right, good stuff from Dan Cilio joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff show. We'll get to a commercial break. It's Henry and Krause on the Countdown to Kickoff show. Back in a moment.
EAGLES, Eagles.
And we're back here live on a Thursday night. It's the Countdown to Kickoff show, live from Screwballs. Absolutely the best sports bar in the Delaware Valley. We're glad that we're here. We're here every Thursday night during the football season, and this is year number 5 for the Countdown to Kickoff show across the JAKIB Sports network, and I'm glad to transition into our next segment and introduce everybody to the men from Steamfitters Local 420, all of the coats and jackets that are here that you see, and another 500 that you don't see are the good work of the Steamfitters Local 420, who are fueling and who have been fueling Krause's coats. Let me introduce to my right here directly is Jim Shoup. Jim, how are you, sir?
How you doing, Krause?
I'm doing well, brother.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, man. Good to see you. Joe Arell is here.
Sir, good to see you.
Joe, nice to have you back. I know
Thank
you missed
you.
last year, but great to have you
Excited
back.
to be back.
Nice to have you here, man. And then Mike Merzjetski, who disconnected us in the commercial break, is to my left. Michael, good to see you again, brother.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, man, good stuff.
Big Mike's our veteran.
Yeah.
5 years, all
Oh.
5 years, right?
Yeah. Seems like yesterday we just started. Now we're 5 years in.
Yeah, no,
Time flies.
I really want to use an opportunity for everyone watching and listening and being a part of it to understand the magnitude of what happens when you buy 800 coats, men's coats, women's coats, kids' coats, and a big collection of them. How does it all start? How does it all... It's all the members, Jim, that are contributing. That's what it is. Take us through the process.
So one of our main values of being in a union is benevolence. And, you know, we have no problem with anytime something like this comes up, all our members are there. So we on the jobs, we're putting flyers out. Guys are taking collections up. We start bringing money down to the hall. We have our Santa Day up there. All the families coming up. Everybody's throwing money in the bucket. Mike's going out with Mark, and they're buying coats, and you know it just goes, and everybody knows this time of the year it's coming, and nobody has problems. We give it up, you know, for charity like that, and for even one of our members needs help, we're there for it. That's what we do.
And you know what? It's a significant impact. It really is when it comes down to it. But when you think about the members and the entire union participating, that's been my impression. I'm the conduit to take the coats and deliver the coats to the people that need. But in standing there and in collecting and watching it all take place, man, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of hands, there's a lot of contributions and sacrifices that are all part of this. Joe, am I right on with that?
Yeah, I think there's just a standard that's been set. As a younger guy that got in, I would say most union meetings, there's some sort of cause set up in the back, whether it's someone raising money for the dogs for veterans or a sick member, kids, and it's just you go in, peel off money, and you put it in, and it's almost at the standard set that it's just what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They teach you as a young person. You're lucky enough to have a good job, benefits, support your family. and you pass that on to the next person when you have the ability to. So I just think it's the standard, specifically with our union. I believe most are, but I know for 420 that's the standard.
Yeah, no doubt
and
about it.
we're proud of that.
Yeah, right from the. I mean, listen, Jimmy Snell, right from the top, man. The minute something comes up, boom, he's automatic with it. And go ahead, Jim.
We're construction workers during the day, but at night we're community. You know, we're giving back to the community.
Yeah, you know, and listen, and I don't know if you heard me say this in the beginning, but you know, and I don't say this because I want the spotlight on me and I want somebody to pat me on the back. I've been at this for 21 years. This is my 21st year. In the first 20 years, 370,000 plus coats collected, reconditioned, and distributed. Henry did the math. It's about 18,000 coats a year. Still not enough.
No.
But I'm sorry to say that the need is there. But without the union support, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, so I give all thanks to the good Lord, and I give all thanks to the unions who have fueled and allowed me to just be the guy to be able to change some lives and keep people warm. It's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
that's staggering numbers.
Yeah, really, listen, I'm going to do it until I leave this world, brother. And when the good Lord calls me and I finally do check out, my kids are going to carry on.
I love that.
So it's just a very meaningful thing. Mike, you're the most important guy in the room, I guess, at some point, because you get challenged or tasked with going out and buying all these coats. Now, how does that work? You walk into the store. I mean, by the way, these are beautiful coats that are here. You walk in, you line them up, you grab them off the shelf. Talk about that.
Yeah, I get handed a stack of money and fills my pockets, and then it's time to run. And it's since I've been doing this a while now, everybody knows who I am. So when I go to Burlington,
that's great.
When I go to Burlington Coat Factory, and I go to Target, and I go to Boscov's, and the lady ran me down. She's like, No, don't buy this today. Come back Saturday. We got 20% off, Mike.
Oh,
you
nice.
come back, you'll get so many more coats, and that's the kind of relationship you build, man. Everybody's just all for the altruistic movement, right? Of just giving back, and it makes me feel good, man. This time of year is awesome because it's all about giving, and so when I get handed the money and I go and I spend it and I go back and they give me more money, right? Because they take up collections at different times of the month. So we had money rolling in today. One of our business agents took the money and he went out and got some more coats.
Wow, that's amazing.
It just don't stop. And,
what have you learned in
good,
5? Listen, you've been doing it. You've been buying for a while. What have you learned? What's different today? Is it easier today than that first year or what?
It's easier today because it's less stressful. In the beginning, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to spend $12,000 on coats? You know what I mean? And the first year, they're like, we're going to give you 10% off. We're going to get this, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to buy 100 more coats. You know what I mean? But now, at this point, I'm in a groove. It's
he's got a system.
It's easy, and I have a partner, Mark Heffernan. Shout out to him. He helps me. We both buy the coats, and we have a great time doing it, man.
Well, and you can see the
it.
system, guys. You see how it comes. I mean, they come. The coats here tonight are the men's coats. The kids' coats were just. There's a system for that as well. Boys' coats, girls. Because, as a matter of fact, earlier this morning, I started separating. I have 2 schools in a tough part of town that I have been providing a kid's coat for each student in each grade. So the school principal or the head of the school provides for me the student name and the size, and then we individually organize them by classroom, and then my daughters go down with me, and we give each of the students get like a present, right before the holidays.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And so when I got all the kids' coats yesterday, we already started organizing them and started allocating them 5T, 6T, and all of that stuff. It's really dynamite stuff at Steamfitters. I mean, I can't thank the Steamfitters enough. I mean, I wish I had every member of the Steamfitters in screwballs right now. Wouldn't fit all in here. We'd fill the parking lot just to be able to say thank you.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, Jimmy runs a big job up at Merck, and he goes around and he puts the word out, and then all the members, give him money. And Joey, same thing with Jobs. And you got all them, and they put a mass email out, and guys will send them over. They'll stop during after work, and they'll drop off coats. So it's all in. It's all in, and
Everybody's in.
That's what we love.
I have to be honest with you, though. You were almost a few coats short on the way out here. One of the trucks had to pull over on the side of the turnpike, and we had to do some adjustment. We almost lost a few. So
the three of
we
us
got
on the
them
side
here.
of the turnpike.
We got it here, though.
So Mike, you saw me with the kids' coats, right? I get nervous. The boxes are like just this far up above the bed, right? I'm driving my son's truck, right? The boxes are just sticking up above the bed. I can't see because the windows are filled with the bags, right? And I'm like, oh my God, are the coats going to fall out? But you do get a system down, in terms of it. So I'm glad you didn't lose it.
I was laying on the bags on the side of the turnpike trying to weigh them down as they're pulling the thing over. The car's going 80 by us.
We got them.
We got it.
I remember last year we brought them to your house.
Yeah.
We filled that whole garage.
The whole garage. Two-car
garage.
A two-car garage, which is not filled with shit. All right, it's a two-car garage. Most of my stuff's organized in there.
Hockey stuff's up high.
Yeah, hockey stuff's up high, and it was filled to capacity. Just an amazing stuff, guys. Let's talk football a little bit. It's the countdown to kickoff show. Big Sills, Dan Cilio talked about a couple of the variables that were going to play out in this game. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Jalen coming off of what was a great game a week ago. Your thoughts, Mike? What do this team's on a hell of a run. We're preparing for New Orleans, I think, but what do you think about it?
You know what? I think I feel great about this season. I think the only thing that can derail us is a serious injury. I think Destiny has us going to New Orleans. I think offensively, I don't think there's a defense in the league as good as ours. That's the difference between a Buffalo and a Detroit than us, is they don't have the defense we have. We have shutdown corners. We have a linebacker in Zach Braun who came out of nowhere. He averages, it seems like, 12 tackles a game. Quinyon Mitchell shuts it down on the outside. This offense shows you, okay, we can run the ball and control the game, or we can throw it, right? If you have problems, you want to criticize us, Jalen Hurts going to throw it for 280, and get everybody involved. So there's a lot of elements to our team. I think, honestly, the only thing that can derail us is an injury. You've seen Landon Dickerson get hurt a little bit. You've seen Barkley get banged up. That's the stuff that worries me, right? I think, but really, I think we're bound, right, Jim?
It's the law of attrition. You're week 15, you're week 16. Barkley is going to be a little bit banged up. He needs to average, I think,
140,
130,
something like that. Yeah.
So
I'd rather shut it. I wouldn't even go for that.
Shut him down.
I'd shut it down a little bit.
Well, here's the one thing, and I think, well, you tell me. If it's necessary to win the Giants game, which the Eagles are going to win, which is the last game, if it's necessary for them to win that football game in order to have the number one seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, meaning all the way through the 24th of January, I think is the is the NFC Conference Championship game on the schedule right now. Do you play your starters and do you play Saquon in that game to make sure you don't stub your toe against a bad Giants team that's a division team that would love to come in here and just win the game?
If necessary, yes. If necessary, you have to do it because that's what you need. You need that home field advantage, and you get them out of there as soon as you can because we all think that we're going to handle the Giants, but you never know. Like you said, you might stub your toe. You have to go all in, and this team isn't going to be. They're not concerned with individual records. That's the beauty about this team. We brought these coordinators in. This defensive coordinator brought players in. That's what we needed. That was what we lacked last year. We were a 10-1 or a 10-2 team last year, and we were ugly. This year, we were dominating. We were playing good. The players are having fun. The coaches are coaching the right way, and we're in a great position. We just handled Pittsburgh. We took care of all these top teams. Baltimore, you know. Getting yelled at over there. Yeah, we're handling those teams. They're the teams that we prove that we can beat them week in and week out, and that's how we show what kind of team they are.
Hey, here's the snapshot that I see, and I include 22 in it, okay? Through the first half of the Super Bowl, the Eagles were going to win that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They were going to win the game. And then they lose it in the second half, obviously. 23, they go on an incredible roll to start the season and then literally fall off the cliff in that last stretch of, 5 games, and then they end up losing in the wild card round to Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. And then they come back. Zach Bond is a beast, right? Vic Fangio has the defense ranked number 1 in the league right now. So that was a drastic turnaround. They go on, they start 2-2, but they come out of the bye week and they haven't lost since.
Great draft.
They're rolling.
Yeah.
Great draft. This team is rolling. Nakobe Dean is playing better football, so they're playing better football. Man, I feel like it's a trip to New Orleans.
Defense and the running game wins championships.
Yeah. Sometimes at work we'll sit there and try and just talk about the Eagles and think of holes or things to complain about. It lasts about 2 minutes. I can't. Sometimes we could be dramatic and think of something where there's holes, but I don't know. This team's loaded everywhere. You can run the ball and you play defense late in January. I don't know. No injuries. This team's definitely destined for something.
Joe, you think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year?
No, that's a heavy question. I'm a hater at heart. Yeah. I definitely have the. I think I don't know if everyone stays healthy. I don't see how we don't. I don't know. There's no holes. If they can all stay together, we had that little hiccup last week with some personality stuff. That kind of reminded me of the year before. I felt like the locker room got lost a little bit. But it seems like they worked it out. They did a little dance at the 20-yard line the other night. I don't know. The boys are back. I don't know.
Message to the crowd, no doubt about that.
We are winning the Super Bowl.
That a boy, Mikey.
You know why? I had season tickets in 2017, and the moment that changed that whole year, I'll never forget. It was the Giants game. They gave up a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and that's when our guy Elliott kicked a 62-yarder. Yeah. And I turned to my son and I said, "This team's got it. It's destiny." And then that's the year we lost Wentz, and everybody was down, and because that was a big injury, right?
That was a huge injury that year.
I just felt it. And I said we're going to win, and look what happened. We won. And sometimes it's just about destiny, and I just think, I think this is it.
Things have to go your way.
Yeah, I just feel it.
By the way, a name you just mentioned, Jake Elliott.
Yeah, that would be the one hole.
It's amazing to me that we're even having that conversation. You want to talk about a guy that has been, as automatic as you can be. Put him outside the 50, and he's even more. And he's been even more automatic. And all of a sudden, pardon the pun, he's the Achilles heel right now. On this football team.
Well, you look what they did, right? They punted the ball against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right. Was it no? Who did they play? And they punted the ball to play. It was
Carolina. It was Carolina.
They could have kicked that.
Yeah.
Right. And it would have iced the game. But I think they don't have confidence in them. But look across the league. I think there's some kind of itis going on with the kickers. Justin Tucker, he missed how many in against the Eagles? He missed two.
If Justin Tucker was Justin Tucker, the Eagles would have lost the game to Baltimore this year.
That's true.
I think something's going on this year, man. It's just you can't rely on the kicker.
Well, they're
this year.
expecting them to make 70-yard kicks now.
Yeah, right. The line has definitely moved back.
It keeps moving, and it's got to take something out of them.
Yeah, we were just talking right there. I think the Eagles get a bye if they get through this week. I think this week, divisional game, Commanders, they always give us a little bit of problems. I think this is going to be the toughest game of the year right here.
Yeah, you might be
right. As far
as
the rest of the year.
You might be right, man.
It's a tough team to beat twice.
Yeah.
Quarterback's a stud. I mean, to go down there and win again.
The line's only 3.5. That's a little weird to me.
Yeah, what's that telling you?
You know, that's a little weird.
You just look historically. It's tough to beat them twice.
They derailed us. What was it last year? Right?
Last year, beat us at home.
Let me flash you back to the game at the length this year.
Yeah.
Thursday
night. Into the fourth quarter, the Thursday night game. Going into the fourth quarter, the Eagles were losing that football game to the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels was not having a good football game, and then Saquon had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
He got hot. That's right.
He got hot, and then they
Wore them
ended up.
down.
They ended up winning that football game. But this is a good football team. Washington's a good football game, and then of course Dallas. The only reason why I think I said I was talking to my son Zander, and I said, look, I think Dallas might have a chance. He's like, if Cooper Rush is the quarterback, they don't have a chance. I don't think Dallas has a chance. But the fact that it's Dallas, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants, 3
They're
divisional
running you
games.
through the gauntlet there.
Yeah,
like,
they're
you know.
going through it, whether the teams are good or not. You know,
It
what I
doesn't
mean?
matter. It's divisional. They they show up no matter what. They're always
Yeah.
no, those games are uncertain.
No,
We're going to get a heavy dose of Saquon this weekend. I
Yeah.
can feel it, though.
Yeah,
I think they're like, they were saying they're letting up 130 yards per game on average, Washington. He didn't get the ball that much last week.
Well, he was out most of the second quarter. Now Gainwell played
he played great.
really,
Showed
really
up.
well, man. Boy,
Yeah.
he plays a good football player.
We have depth. We have depth, man.
We do.
We have depth. So
With an O-line like that, too.
yeah. So we have depth.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's the Eagles and the Commanders on Sunday, 1 o'clock. Don't forget the JAKIB Sports pregame show, the countdown to kickoff show, into the pregame show, into the kickoff, into our JAKIB Sports halftime show, into the second half, and then right into the JAKIB postgame show with Big Sills, Z Krause, and John McMullen from down at the stadium. All of that coming up on Sunday across the network. Guys, Jimmy, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you, man. Joe Arell, thank you.
sir.
And Mike Merzajetsky.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for, let me make sure, are we still plugged in over there?
5
Mike?
years. 5 years. He's locked in the
He tried to
pronunciation
shut it
now.
down.
One mistake in 5 years. It's okay.
Yeah, but he's got the pronunciation of the
Listen,
last name down.
You know what I didn't realize, Mike?
What's
and
that?
I'm going to have to drop off at the hall. My good buddy from Chev's down in Port Richmond. Have you had his smoked kibasi?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes, I have.
I mean, it is.
I don't. If you see my last name, Merzajetsky.
Yeah.
We're born to eat that kibasi. We're born to eat kibasi.
All right, well, I'm going to see him on Saturday.
That place is amazing.
I texted John on this morning, and I said, "Hey, I got my veterans brunch on Saturday. I might not get there by 2." He's like, "Krause, I'll wait for you." I got to see him before the holidays.
have
man.
to.
I mean, he's just an amazing guy. What an amazing spot. You like guys like a bossy or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good.
So we
stuff.
look like we like kibasi?
Yeah, the hot stick, the hot cheesy's good.
The party in your mouth.
All right, good. Guys, thanks a million, man.
Oh, man. Thank you, sir.
Give Jimmy Snell, my best, and all of the members.
Yes, sir.
Another year in the books, man. And I really, all kidding aside and everything else, man, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
On
We
behalf of
appreciate
all
you,
those.
We're happy to do it.
Yeah, and on behalf of all the individuals you'll never know, I want you to know that you're changing lives. On the coldest nights and the coldest mornings of the year, and in all reality, it might be the toughest time to exist. You can have no money in your pocket and be warm, and then you can have no money in your pocket and be freezing cold. And there is a difference, and these coats will make a significant difference. So I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the opportunity,
Absolutely.
and thanks for continuing to lead the charge after all these years.
All right, man, all good. It's the Countdown to Kickoff show. We'll come back to Screwballs. We'll finish it up with our final segment back in a moment. And we're back here live on a Thursday night, live here at Screwballs. It's the Countdown to Kickoff show with Henry and Krause. Again, special thanks to Jim Shoup, Joe Arell, and Mike Merzajetsky from Local 420, Henry. What an amazing union, and what an amazing contribution from all of the members of 420. You can see just a small sampling. We've been talking about it all night. It's the 21st year for Krause's coats, and it's a really special night for me. And it was great to have Jim, Joe, and Mike on the broadcast tonight. Thanks for stepping aside and let me get all three on there.
Union strong, man. Union strong. I used to be a part of 98 back in the day. Those union guys, they always pull together at the holidays. They're always looking out for vets. They're always looking always looking out for the less fortunate.
Well, it's good we
one
had
thing
an
about
electrician, local 98 electrician in, because Mike Merzajetsky.
The bull came through.
Yeah, the
Direct
bull
shot.
blew up the set, man. We disconnected for a little bit, but we were able to get it back on, and we're all good. And here on a Thursday night, Eagles Commanders, we're going to get into it's our final segment of the day. We're going to get into some game day conversation. Mike and Steve are with us. We're going to break down the game. We're going to go towards the end of the segment. We might go a little bit more rapid fire just to make sure that we cover a lot of different variations of what this game is going to be. Mike, I'll start with you, brother, and then Henry, just feel free to jump in. Don't let me dominate the conversation.
Well, hold on 1 second. I just got breaking news. I just got the script from last week against Pittsburgh, and Goodell said, Steelers, rest. We need you for the AFC North championship game. You know, only give half an effort in Philadelphia. So I just got that breaking news. Do you guys believe that or not?
Well, by the way they played, yeah. I mean, they had 0.1 yards per play in the middle of the second quarter, man.
What Pickett, is that unbelievable? Like, I got to admit on the set that I distinctly remember 3 plays from the game because, you know, we had that bus going down there. So it was a lot of distractions down there. And the Eagles fans were very well behaved, I must admit.
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh didn't give him a game, number one, Henry. Number two, when you woke up, did you see the final score?
I did. I was going to way home.
I'm just making sure.
I believe the Eagles won. I heard a lot of
I mean, I believe if we check the taper, I said 27-19 last week. I undercut him by $1, and it was 27-13.
And I said 21-17.
I believe you did.
We were all in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? So,
we were.
But no, listen, that Eagles team, they don't have a lot of holes in their game. So I don't know where you attack. Big Sills earlier said he attacked the perimeter with the run. But the only successful stat for the Steelers on that day was that they held Barkley to 65 yards. So if he doesn't get the rushing record, at least I could feel a little responsible.
I believe so. I mean, I think he needs 417 yards to get it 139 per game, which you could get it. If he goes for 150, 200 this week, they're probably going to let him go for it, I would think.
I feel like we're going to know very early in that game if they're trying to get the record. Like if they just keep feeding Barkley, because I believe this Eagles team can run on anybody in the league. I think they have, they obviously have the best running back with the most rushing yards, but I think that is their strength. I think the offense, the fear of, for a defensive coordinator, when you can't stop the run, it's pretty futile after that because that opens up everything else. That's old school football. Eagles have like a little bit of an old school football mindset, and so do the Chargers with the size of their offensive line and their backs. They just want the old 5 yards in the cloud of dust. So I think the Eagles, the key to their success postseason is give the rock to Barkley. He opens it all up.
100%. The Commanders are 24th in the league against the run right now, and they're pretty good against the pass. So if there's a week to get Saquon like 200 on the ground, especially because the last game he ran the ball 26 times for 146 yards.
Yeah, he didn't play a lot last week, though. He didn't. He was banged up in the second quarter. Gainwell came in, had a good. By the way, Gainwell played very well. Saquon didn't play a lot. Didn't get a lot of yardage in the game last week. But listen, we talked about it on the previous segment. It's week 15 or week 16. It's the law of attrition. And you can't legislate injuries, and Saquon's a tough son of a gun, so he's going to play. I don't really know if Saquon cares about whether he gets the yards or not.
Well, I wish Johnny Mack was here because he's the ear of the Eagles. I wonder if, when I heard the stat today that he needs 139 yards average in the next 3 games, I wonder in that coaching meeting, is it are we going to try to get him the record? Like the first thing, is that on the agenda?
No, I don't.
Are we going to try to get Barkley this record?
I don't think so. I think Saquon is when Nick came to him early in the season and said, hey, you're whatever he was, 5-10 yards away from your personal career high. He said, no, I'm good. Let the young kids eat. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, let the young bucks eat.
Yeah, let them eat.
That's
so
a different conversation. My personal best versus the greatest season
Sure.
in NFL history.
I agreed, but the
It's
only
got to
thing
be on the table somewhere.
it's got to be on the table. But on the flip side, Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games. Saquon would do it in 17 unless he does it next week, right? Versus Dallas. So
all the stats are skewed. From back then.
exactly. OJ did it in 14 games when he rushed for 2,000 in the early 70s.
And he killed it. And he
Right.
literally
Literally.
continued to kill
There
it.
you go. There you go. There you go.
Hey,
Now,
how
let's get into the game.
No, I was going to say, how apropos would it be if Saquon in that last game of the season against the Giants is going for that record?
Why would you risk it? I mean, you don't need that game, right? And
Personally, if whether it's Detroit, Minnesota, whoever gets, if they have the 1 seed locked up and they have nothing to play for, if Saquon is 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards from it, sure, you let him play. But if he's 80, 100, 120 yards, Saquon's going to say, I'm good. Sit me out, because what's going to happen if he's 98 yards from it and, God forbid, he blows something out or got hurt first quarter and is out for the playoffs? I know.
Mike, you know better than that.
I know, but everybody's going to be like, what did you play for? And Saquon will probably be the first one to say, no, I'm good. I don't.
Listen, here's the reality of that. Here's the reality of that statement. If that game is going to determine the number 1 seed in the conference, that would bring the road to the Super Bowl through Philadelphia all the way through January 24th in the NFC Conference Championship game, then Saquon's going to play, Jalen's going to start,
100%.
and the offense is going to play in that game against the Giants. Bottom line, and I think that's the approach that you have to take.
They don't need Barkley to beat the Giants, though. They don't need.
Yeah.
They need him rested for the playoff run more than they need him for the Giants. And I just feel like
I don't know,
this
Henry. I don't know
Eagles
if
team is so strong. Like, people don't realize it. Of course, I want to pick the Steelers all day. They're my team. But if I'm being real with myself, their roster is so solid.
Who's that?
Everywhere
The
you
Eagles,
go.
right?
The Eagles, man.
Well,
there's not
listen.
a lot of weak spots.
No, they don't,
To find
and-
a true weakness, you'd have to look at the special teams play before that game.
Yeah, but here's
that
what-
seems just the kicker
Yeah,
seems
but
to
here's
be
what
okay.
listen. Nobody knows this statement better than you do. On any given Sunday, all you need to do is go back to the Carolina game, which was only a couple of weeks
I know,
ago.
but every team has that.
I
Every
know
team
that,
has that
but
play
my
down game.
I know that, but my point is that with 3 division games left to close out the season, those division games have a different meaning than Eagles-Carolina. So, do I want the Eagles to win out? Yes. Should the Eagles win out? I think so. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they will.
I know, but my point to this is you don't need all guns on deck to beat the Giants. You don't need all guns on deck. I mean, the Commanders, they tend to hang around. No matter how bad they are and how good Eagles are, they always hang around.
They're a better franchise now. They have new ownership. Josh Harris, we won't get into him owning the Sixers, but way better than the former owner.
Right.
It's a new day in Washington, I think, and they made the right pick with Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner. I believe he's the Vegas favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's up there. He's 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I think, listen. Offense wins games, defense wins championship. I believe Bear Bryant said that 60 years ago. I know Anthony Mason said it for the Knicks in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Eagles have number 1 scoring against in the NFL, 17.6. I believe they're tied with the Broncos and the Chargers who are playing tonight. Least points given up per game. They give up 275, 80 yards a game, 174 yards passing, I believe, which is number 1 against the pass, right? And rushing, they give up 100, 105. Right. And you see Hurts is, I won't say managing the team, but he has, and then what happened last week? Oh, the media gets out. A.J. Brown, this what happened? A.J. 100, Devontae, done.
See, you know
done.
what?
There
that
you go.
really bothers me.
There you
I don't
go.
know why as a coach, that irks me because it sounds like A.J. was crying. They gave him some Kleenex. They gave him some. Like, if my receiver on any team I ever coached was that guy, I'd say, listen, do you want to catch or do you want to ring?
Yeah, but Devontae Smith had more catches than AJ last.
I know, but he was appeased. AJ was appeased. It was obvious that they were feeding him.
Well, you get the diva, and then AJ's like, well, if you're paying me $100 million, give or take, why am I getting 4 or 5 targets a game? Why feed me? But that's not the Eagles' offense this year. We see it. Their defense is number 1 in the NFL. I think they're winning because of their defense.
Let me get Steven into the conversation.
Stevie stats.
Steve, let me get Steven into the conversation. The Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2017 when the strip sack by Brandon Graham, will go down in history in Philadelphia. How many yards did Tom Brady have in that game?
Oh, at least 500.
Over 500 yards.
560 something.
560. So to counter you, Mike, and say, hey, defense is going to win a championship.
I'm talking this year.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But what my point is that I don't want to say on any given Sunday, but in the matchup, in the moment, that's going to determine the ebb and flow of that game. Is going to determine what happens, the outcome of that game.
Listen, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not a great,
Wait, I wanted
vision
Steve to
guy.
comment on that.
But
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to say this: if the Eagles do get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be on Barkley's back. I tell you right now, the way they run the ball will set up. That's the classic formula for a successful offense. You hurt them, you bang them up, you wear out the bigs with the run game, and then those weapons that the Eagles have, that it seems that this team could do whatever they. If we want to showcase the pass against the Steelers, quick tempo, boom, 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 get rid of the ball, Watt doesn't get there. They seem to be able to do whatever they want to do and be a chameleon to whatever the game needs to dictate that day. Not many teams could say that.
Well,
Steve, you say what?
the Eagles are confusing other teams right now with the RPO.
Yes, sir.
The linebackers are having to make decisions they're not really comfortable making right now, and when that starts to happen, the linebackers start to creep a little more toward that line of scrimmage, and that's where you get behind them. And Calcaterra had quite a good game. He had that catch in the first quarter that seemed to open up the entire offense there.
I like Calcaterra. He's a fellow Paisan with me, so he plays well. I mean, Dallas Goedert, in my opinion, won't be here in the next year or two because
He's always hurt.
there you go. You said it.
But I got to say this.
And
about
real quick, to Joe's point, Super Bowl 2 years ago, defense didn't win championships there either. That was a 42-35 game or 38-35. So, it's one of those deals where right now the Eagles defense is playing probably better than I've seen an Eagles defense play since the Buddy Ryan days.
Well, for all the change that occurred with the new coordinators in here, for them to get it together, remember they were 2-2 at one time, and the sky was falling.
And now we won 10 in a row.
Boom.
Eagles
So
franchise record.
But the sky's still falling.
This is Philly. This is Philly. This is
They
what
got
happened.
it all together gradually over time. This team is pretty much injury-free. They're peaking at the right time. All the coordinators are firing. This team is very dangerous going into the postseason with the weaker schedule coming down their last 3 games. They're not banged up. They're going to be healthy, and they're strong everywhere. So I think they have a better chance this year than the last cup, than the year they won it. I think the year they won it, they surprised a lot. That RPO stuff took a lot of people off guard.
Sure.
And, the defense, NFL always catches up. I think they have a better chance this year to win it all than the year they went.
All right, let's get some predictions on the game. It's Eagles in Washington on Sunday. Of course, we'll see what happens as they go south down 95. Remember, in Game 1, the Eagles were trailing going into the fourth quarter, 10-6. They ended up coming back and winning that football game. 26-18 was the final. Mike, break the game down. You see what, and give us your prediction.
Well, I'm going to go right to Vegas here. Vegas has them as a 3.5-point favorite, the Eagles, just like last week when they were 5.5-point favorites. I said that's an Eagles line. I think it's an Eagles line again. Over/under is 45.5, I believe. I'm going to go 27-23. Eagles cover with the hook and a divisional game, and I think it'll be close. And I think the Eagles win. Can they win? Yes, but if they win out, there's going to be 16-17 in a row.
If they lose this game on Sunday, Mike, what would be the reason they would lose this game?
Well, I think it's a division game, and they're at Washington. I mean, right, Henry? I mean, that's your division games. Like, Washington's, again, as I said earlier, new ownership, Dan Quinn, new Jaden Daniels won the Heisman last year.
This is their Super Bowl.
This is
Washington's Super
they're a
Bowl.
better franchise. They're the old, the Hogs from back in the 80s and 90s. They're better ownership. And they have a lot of weapons on that team. Jaden Daniels, again, as I said, offensive rookie of the year probably. So, but I think with Jalen Hurts, the way he's been playing, he's very quiet. He doesn't miss practice. That they have it. They're going to win, I think. And yeah, I'll go 27-23.
Steve, your turn, brother. What do you think?
The Commanders have not beaten a team with a winning record all season. The closest they came was Week 4, where they beat Arizona. Arizona's 7-7 right now. I think they have a real problem playing against higher quality teams. I know they tried to talk themselves into being ready to play the Eagles this week. Brian Robinson came out and said he feels they are the better team. I totally don't see how that's really accurate. And I just think the Eagles are going to hold them under 20 points again. It's the way the defense has been going. 30-17 Eagles.
My God, that is the exact score I just had in my head.
Eagles win, and you say what?
I'm saying that, listen, before he said that, I was thinking 30-17. They're just going to wear them out, grind them out by the end of the game. And there's too many weapons. They're too strong. They're a roster, and they're like 2 years ahead of the Commanders right now, where the Commanders want to be. And I just can't see them. Familiarity breeds contempt, they say, and they're always close divisional games. But, man, the Eagles are firing right now. So I'm going to agree with Steve with the 30-17.
All right, good stuff. That's going to do it for this edition of the Countdown to Kickoff show, live from Screwballs. We'll have our drawing at the end, or we'll have our drawing shortly. We're giving away tickets for the Eagles-Giants game. We do have a winner going down to Washington from Screwballs. One of our lucky winners will be in the house on Sunday. Mike, Steve, good stuff. We will not be back here next week. We are off the schedule following the day after the Christmas holiday. So we'll see you on the other side going into, I guess would be going into the Giants game, because next week goes into the Dallas game.
Is that what we're giving tickets away to? What, the Giants or the Eagles?
Eagles-Giants.
Dallas or Giants?
No, Eagles-Giants. Our Eagles-Dallas winner, we gave away about a month ago.
Gotcha.
So we already gave those tickets away.
All right, cool.
So, all right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Countdown to Kickoff show, live from Screwballs on a Thursday night. Shout out again to Steamfitters Local 420. Great job by everybody there. Steve,
Good
Mike,
job,
well
guys.
done.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Well done. Really, really fantastic stuff. Thank you to Big Sills. Don't forget to subscribe if you're on the JAKIB Sports channel. Steve, Mike, good job again tonight, brother. We will see you guys next time when we are here. And Henry, nice job by you. I'll see you down at the Beast of the East Wrestling Tournament on early Sunday morning. That's going to do it for our Countdown to Kickoff show on a Thursday night. We'll wrap it up with an Eagles chant. See you next time, everybody.